Yo, and yo, the more I grow up and get my life on track, the more I feel myself getting pulled back. The unbeatable odds that I'm facing got me thinking it's a game that I can't win. Like back when I was in school and they released Donkey Kong Country 2. That was a hard-ass game. I never beat it, and I ain't been the same. So when the stress starts pulling me under,
What's up, everybody? This is the one, aka the sole survivor of the gaming apocalypse, and I'm bringing you a bonus thought out from the side of my neck. Well, last night it happened. Nintendo held their 2010 Fall Conference, a conference they have yearly due to the fact they never attend the Tokyo Game Show. This conference is held to showcase Nintendo's plans for the rest of the year and the first part of the next year in Japan. With this year's conference being all about the Nintendo 3DS. Yes, Nintendo finally unveiled it fully to the world in all its glory. In this video, I want to address some of the key points and major issues gamers are having with the announcement after taking all that information in. The main thing is the price point. As of right now, the 3DS is going to be around $300 in Japan. And US gamers are feeling that that same price will be for our American version that's released next year. Well, I'm here to tell you it won't be. The highest the 3DS will be in America will probably be $250, $249.95. One, there's an issue of the exchange rate. For instance, the new Mario Sports Mega Mix coming out in Japan, as of right now, is going for 5,800 yen. That translates to $70 US. Wii games don't cost $70. Wii games cost $50. You see what I mean? So, if you use common sense and take that same rationale with 3DS price, the 3DS price could be anywhere from $200 to $250 American. Next, the reasoning behind the price. Why is it going to be so much in Japan? Well, if you haven't noticed, Japan is a handheld market now. Handhelds are the main systems, with the home console being the secondary system. Just look at the sales, for example, and you definitely see the point I'm making. Lifetime sales of the DS hardware is over 30 million. For the PSP, it's about 15 million. But then you look at the home consoles, the Wii at 10 million, the PS3 at 5 million. Japanese gamers love handhelds, mainly due to their lifestyle being so fast-paced in a hurry, the living quarters small, not wanting a lot of items in your space, since your space is small overall, and the content. Look at the games released on the DS and the PSP compared to the home consoles. There's a bigger variety of games. There are more titles that they want being created for those systems than the home consoles. So Nintendo knows they can sell their console as long as it has the right amount of content for that price and still be successful. Once again, using common sense and that same rationale, the US, the Western market, is a home console market, with the handheld being a second device. So the home console in the US and in Europe takes the lead, and the handheld is lower. So you can sell your home console for a higher price and sell your handheld cheaper because they're more likely to get the home console first and the handheld second. Next, we move on to the release date. Why is it now coming out next year in Japan instead of at the end of this year? This has to do with the success of Pokemon Black and White. Two games just released for the regular DS. Once that game dropped, sales of the DS, DSi, and DS XL skyrocketed in Japan. So Nintendo knows that game alone can push the hardware for the rest of the year, giving them more time to work on their games and more 3DS software. By releasing the 3DS this year, you could damage those new sales, because gamers today don't just wait for that new system to play that new hot game. Go ahead, push it back next year, make them buy the new system, buy an old system if they want to play that new game now. Very smart business. Now we had the 3DS itself. And it's pretty much Nintendo's ideal of a perfect handheld. Being capable of doing anything and everything you need to do. The power of it puts it somewhere in the range of a portable PS2, GameCube, Xbox. And with some of the games we've seen so far, the games look like final year PS2 games, GameCube games, and could be early Xbox games. Or at least to be able to put out games of that kind of quality. The capabilities of the systems, the specs, the new features, and more importantly, Nintendo showing they're finally ready to make the trends that Sony and Microsoft started a standard in the gaming industry when it comes to this online structure. Being able to transfer your old content on your old model handheld to this new handheld with ease. Something you can do on other home console makers' systems. The game seeming to have this always online integration, connectability, and also have its own virtual console with Game Boy Advance type games, plus your own 3DSware and your DSware. D-pad, face buttons, touchscreen, analog, backwards compatibility. The 3DS is pretty much a perfect handheld. And even if Sony's PSP2 is on par with the 3DS, it then goes back to just being about content. Who has the better games? And I put Nintendo's first party up against Sony's first party any day. If I had one gripe, it would be the lack of presence of the expanded new gamer content. Games like Brain Age. Those games is what made the DS so successful. It's not the core games. It's not the core gamers. It's the new gamers you brought in because of the system and that kind of content. Nintendogs. Things of that nature. If the 3DS is going to have a chance to be just as successful, Nintendo need 3D generation games like that. New content like that. I have no doubt they're not working on those kind of games. But still, just for a conference point of view, those are the people you want to impress. Those are the people you want to persuade in buying this $300 system. Core gamers, they're going to buy regardless. They're used to spending money on things like that. That's what they do. But the expanded gamer, the new gamer, you got to convince them. Why should they get a 3DS where they can get a DS that's cheaper and get those games they want to play? Finally, what did the 3DS announcement last night mean to us, the American US market? Basically, expect next year to be a down year for the Wii. I'm not talking about sales. I'm talking about overall content for the system. Nintendo has shown they're putting all their effort into the launch of the 3DS. So expect maybe, if we're lucky, 6 first-party Nintendo games next year. Maybe something better than a year when Nintendo released Wii Music and Animal Crossing City Folks, but something along that line. This year, we've gotten real spoiled with about over 10 first-party Nintendo releases. Don't expect to have that many games next year. As you can see, they're definitely putting all their games into that 3DS. And there weren't any new games shown for the Wii, at least from a first-party point of view. So expect next year to be pretty much the year of Zelda, the new Mario sports game, and probably import games finally coming over. The Last Story, Xenoblade, maybe even the Dynamic Slash game that came out last year. With maybe 2 or 3, if we're lucky, more games that they've been holding on to that they won't show until E3 of next year. Either way, from a handheld point of view, the future's looking pretty bright, and I'm feeling real good about it. This is the one. I'll see you next time. Peace.
Impossible, like that one level with the thorns and shit. When reptile pirates get the upper hand, I can't understand why'd you make this level so hard. I got a whole bunch of bananas, but I ain't trying to make this level so hard. I got a whole bunch of bananas, but I ain't trying to make this level so hard. I got a whole bunch of bananas, but I ain't trying nothing for this. I got a whole bunch of bananas.